Exploring the National Waterways Museum was an incredible experience, although our time was limited due to interviews. However, we're eager to revisit and dedicate a full day to uncovering all the hidden gems. For canal enthusiasts who want to actively contribute to preserving this vital heritage, there are numerous volunteer opportunities at this location and across the nation. Join the effort to keep the canals alive and thriving by becoming part of these exciting initiatives.
You've been volunteering a long time, haven't you?
I've been here. I started as a volunteer in 1976 because I was interested in mechanical stuff. I came down here on the open day when they opened in 1976. Got talking to a guy called Adrian Jarvis, who at that time was the keeper of collections in Liverpool, and we were looking at the pump house engines in there. We've got 3 steam engines, sorry, 4 steam engines in the pump house.
Yeah.
And at the time, they were completely derelict. He was looking to restore those, and I thought, with my mechanical interest, I'll come down and have a look what's going on. So I spent several months crawling about under the boilers and around the engines and things. Eventually, there was also a little bit of work going on boats, and someone said, can you give us a lift with doing this? So I said, yeah, all right then. Got involved in wooden boat building and never looked back.
So if somebody wants to get your level of knowledge and become a volunteer here, what do they have to do?
Just volunteer and listen, learn, and pick things up. Which
Is it a friendly team? A friendly bunch?
It is a very friendly team.
Yeah. You're not just saying that, are you?
No, not at all. The curatorial team is quite a small team. There's only about sort of half a dozen of us.
Right.
But we also do a site maintenance team. There's about a dozen or so of them. We've got a grounds maintenance team. We've got a little gardening team. We've got quite a big team over in the archives. They spend their day crunching all the paperwork and so on that's over there, of which we've got a massive amount.
Bet.
We've run out of space basically in the archive. We need to go into a bigger building.
Do you have a bigger building?
We have a bigger building in mind, I think.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what's happening with it at the moment. But
That's
it is
good.
in mind,
Good.
yeah.
So in terms of what's in here, what's your favourite, your most interesting items, do you think? If you had 2 or 3 minutes to share with somebody that you're bringing in, say, you must see this before you go, what would you take them to?
Probably our boat collection, to be honest.
Let's go and have a look, shall we?
Yep.
I love models, you see. So yeah.
So do I. I'm a model maker.
Oh, are you?
By disposition. I've been making things since I
Oh,
was
wow, look at these.
So basically what we've got is a very diverse collection of sort of models of boats. Some are professionally made, some are made by boatmen themselves, some are made by general hobbyists, but they all represent the vessels, especially the boatman made models. They represent the vessels that were actually owned and worked on by the boatmen themselves. So you can take it more or less as read that the colour schemes will be correct and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So in that way they're a good record of what was around at the time, because obviously colour photography wasn't around a lot of the time.
No, absolutely.
They also show you what things look like underwater as well. Boats, when they're afloat, you only see about a third of them. The rest of it is hidden beneath the waves, as it were. So if you look at a boat model, you can actually see what the underwater shape is as well. Whether they've got a propeller and that type of thing, because you can't always tell from the top. True. And then they also display a good level of craftsmanship.
They really do. Yeah.
Some are quite crude, but
and somebody's made us a lock model there as well.
We've got sort of architectural models as well. We've got the lock model itself, which I think, but don't quote me, was for the Huddersfield Canal. We've got a little sort of architectural group of buildings at the end, which are off the Shrewsbury Canal. I think they're trench, but again, don't quote me.
Okay.
And then the big model at the front was produced by Ellesmere Port and Neston Borough Council as part of a sort of overall scheme for developing the museum.
Nice.
Back in the sort of 70s and 80s.
It's nice that they donated you the model at the end of that.
We've got about 3, to be honest.
Oh, have you?
At the end of the project, they gave us the sort of architectural models. This one is sort of this building and the pump house next door. but we have got a bigger one that shows the whole site
Yeah.
and what the proposed development was. And if you look at the model and look at the site, 90% of it has actually got to fruition.
These aren't all canal boats, are they? Unless you're talking Manchester Ship Canal, because
Manchester Ship Canal,
so they
yes,
would-
as
yes.
well. We include waterways of a sort of all sizes and shapes. So we've got the Manchester Ship Canal, the Forth and Clyde Canal, the Sharpness Canal, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And with a sort of interest-ish in world canals.
Okay.
Only because they're sort of allied. The development of sort of canals in other countries either predates or mirrors the development of canals in this country.
Yeah.
So you look at the sort of technical aspects like boat lifts and things like that, which were done abroad before they were done here. So you've got things to sort of study the development of.
It's interesting because Carol's from Indiana, and when
Right.
when we last visited her home, we found a large street mural of an old canal that used to exist called the White Water or White River Canal.
Built in 1836 with a budget of $1.4 million, the Whitewater Canal connected communities in Indiana. It stretched from Hagerstown to Lawrenceburg, and it connected to the Ohio River. Unfortunately, financial strain from the Mammoth Internal Improvement Act led to a halt in construction by 1839, completing the canal through Cambridge City after Indiana went bankrupt. This marked the end of the canal era in Lawrenceburg, just 8 years after its inception.
I mean, we'd got the sort of continental influence, so there was already canals in Europe, so we just sort of jumped on the bandwagon.
Okay.
America seemed to do it differently. They went for sort of road transport right from the word go, and then railways were the big influence in
Yes.
developing America. The railways sort of opened up the Wild West, as it were.
True.
So canals, I think, took a bit of a back street.
But you know, they really envy our canal system.
do.
They do, yes, because it despite the fact that it was built as an industrial sort of servicing element, it now runs through virtually empty countryside because industry always sort of gravitates to the cheapest form of transport. So initially industry was based alongside canals because canals suddenly offered the ability to transport massive amounts of goods. You're going from your sort of pack horse up to 25 tonnes in a boat, which is a massive increase. And then the railways come along, they offer a sort of slightly speedier and better service, so industry gravitates to railways, and now it all gravitates to motorways. So canals, the industry has moved away, a lot of it's now been demolished, so they're now back to being rural again.
Yeah.
To act as sort of wildlife corridors as well, green spaces, you know, places where people can go and just sit and relax.
I think about a quarter of our viewers are in the United States.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so they're quite keen.
And I think that's probably true of all the narrowboat channels on YouTube, is they have a lot of American fans.
Viewers and fans.
Yeah, and they love to come over here and
Check
so,
out the history.
So no, that's really good. So thanks for this. I think they're fantastic.
They
They're
are.
good.
Gear
This is
as
our
well.
diving equipment. This is a case that's under development.
That's interesting
What
stuff.
we will have ultimately is some sort of mannequin with the suit on and the helmet on, so you can see how all the bits fit together.
The whole Captain Nemo stuff, isn't it?
It is, but having said that, it was in use up until the sort of 60s and probably a bit beyond that as well in certain areas.
How long has this been open,
The
this
museum has been open since 1976 to
Okay.
the public. We've actually been on site since about 1971. Initial years were sort of conservation of what was an abandoned and derelict site. We boarded up the doors as fast as the vandals knocked them down again the next weekend.
Oh, goodness.
And then we gradually got sort of settled in on the site. I think 72, 73 we got our first boat on site, which was Gifford, which is out there. And then 76 we opened to the public in one room in the toll house building. So that was our sort
So
of...
you've really expanded.
That was your birthday.
After that we sort of pootled along on not a lot of money, and then we got various grants and so on. The first one was a bit of a sort of groundbreaker. So the local authority at that time would issue a derelict land grant, that was it.
Okay.
And the idea of that was to prepare sites for industrial estates and things like that. Our manager at the time, Tony Hurst, by political manoeuvring, managed to get that derelict land grant money to restore this building. And that was actually a groundbreaker. That was the first time that that had been done in the country, so we were quite proud of that, really. And that got us a new floor, new roof.
Yeah, it looks
and
really
then
nice.
various sort of fittings out, as you can see, the office
it's
blocks,
really
the theatres,
nice.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
We also got some money from the sort of riots in Toxteth in the 80s as well. And then we've had over the years grants from all sorts of societies for the boats, for the buildings, for all sorts of other projects. But an awful lot of it is what comes through the gate.
Like,
Wooden boat repair and metal boat repair.
Okay.
We used to do it in-house.
Okay.
Out on the yard at the back there, we've got workshops set up over there.
are you talking about like boats that were part of the museum?
Part of the museum collection,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to do all our restoration work in-house.
Okay.
We got a team of shipwrights as part of the youth employment scheme, and then we just got on with it, and we rebuilt George. We did a fair bit of work on Mossdale, which is out under the cover there, although you wouldn't be able to tell now.
Is that the one that has Liverpool on the front?
That's the one,
Yes. It's a wooden one.
It's
Yeah.
an all wooden one, yeah. Very interesting boat in that she's the last surviving Mersey flat
She.
of all wooden construction. Mersey flats were the generic sailing craft of this area. You might have heard of Humber keels and Thames barges and things like that. They're the sort of generic sailing vessels for the Thames and the Humber. Mersey flats were this area's generic sailing vessels, and they would work the sort of short sea trades over to Ireland, up to Scotland, mid Wales, that type. Alternatively, they were dumb vessels, which is what Mossdale is, with no engine at all. She was towed by either a tug on the river or horses on the canal.
Okay.
We got Mossdale many moons ago. She was going to be a floating restaurant. A guy bought it with the intention of doing that. That didn't happen, so it fell through, so we ended up with Mossdale.
Oh.
So she's a very historic vessel. The only surviving Mersey flat of the type that would have been sailed on the river.
Okay.
There is one other Mersey flat survivor, but she's what's called a composite vessel. She's got iron frames planked in timber. Mossdale has got wooden frames planked in wood.
So one of the myths about volunteering is that all you're going to do is volunteer at locks. That's
Not here.
no,
Not here.
no, but I'm talking about how boaters perceive volunteers. We only ever see the lockies.
I was going to say that's because they're the sort of front door, if you like,
Yes.
to CRT. They're the people you're going to meet when you're out boating. is
But
the
there's a
volunteer
lot more
lockkeeper.
to it than that, isn't
There are a
there?
lot of other volunteers all over the country.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people doing vegetation management along the towpaths, that sort of thing. There's
Yes.
people doing restoration work on the locks, painting, brickwork, that type of thing. And they're all a bit unseen at times. The face that most people see is the volunteer lock keepers.
Yes, true. Thankfully, they're all friendly.
Is that a balloon basket?
That looks like a fish basket.
It looks.
That one up there,
Yeah.
it's just a general purpose basket, really.
It's very similar.
She went on a small one. Your dad was a
Yeah,
balloon
he was
pilot,
a
wasn't
balloon
he?
pilot, and that looks very similar to what it was.
An awful lot of cargo used to be carried around in baskets and barrels.
You
and
fill that with
crates,
anything,
that
that's
type of
going to be
thing.
heavy.
Yeah, you can
That's
fill
massive,
it with
isn't
anything.
it? You wouldn't want that on the front of your bike, would you?
Need a big bike. One of the things that used to be carried in baskets like that is pottery.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it would be packed in straw in
yeah.
baskets.
Of course, yeah.
And strangely enough, they were known as crates.
Okay.
Okay, well that makes sense because I know the whole thing about Wedgwood and the history, particularly of sort of Aldlam and the canal history down there, is all about how the canals offered the opportunity to get your pots delivered in one piece.
one
Yeah,
that's
because
exactly
the roads
right,
weren't
yeah.
so great, were
Yeah.
they?
Bump it along the road in a car, you end up with
Yeah.
90% of it in pieces.
Yes.
The canals all of a sudden are nice and smooth.
Yeah,
And you can
absolutely.
put more in the boat than you can in a cart as well.
That's true.
Yeah, very, very rare and fragile items that you really can't handle, and they take photographs from every side, and then we can upload them onto the website, so giving international access to our collections.
We do 3D modelling basically. I mean, this is what we're just working on now. So basically, this is the bottom end of a very small clay pipe that was found in a canal, and we take a lot of pictures of it from all different angles. This is 176 pictures
Okay.
of that from different angles. And then we put it into this wonderful software, this program that crunches all the numbers and produces this
Yep.
That's very
for
cool.
us. I can show you some others.
Do you 3D print that then, Chris?
We are now looking into the possibility of 3D printing. We're actually investigating which one to buy.
They have become a bit more accessible, haven't they?
Yeah. They're, well, I mean, I don't know a lot about 3D printing.
I know the big machines aren't cheap. I know that.
I don't know which one we're going to buy yet. It won't be a...
It won't be a monster one,
No,
will
it won't be a
it?
monster one, no. It won't be a monster one.
So this is is that the same picture that's in here, that's on there?
Yeah, that's that
Okay,
jug
so
there.
there's that one, and then you've got it.
There's that one there.
Oh, look at that.
But I suppose the piece de resistance for us is this one. This is a shotgun that was found in the canal. But the barrels are missing, and it came in two halves. So what we did was to photograph it separately and then put them together.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant.
Very cool. So detailed. It's really nice.
Yeah, the detail on it is really
Yeah,
quite high.
very good.
So you're using sort of high resolution photography.
It is high resolution. I mean, that's where we do it over there.
Right.
So,
Yes.
So basically, we light it,
Yep.
and we'll have a camera up here. On this particular thing, we had a camera up here and a camera down here.
Yep.
And depending on the size, we might have a third camera.
Yep.
And then what you basically do is you light it, and with this, actually, you press this, and all three cameras fire at the same time.
Right.
Okay.
And then, so you then take a picture and you turn
Turn
it.
it. Yes.
Take another one and turn it.
Yeah.
And you do that all the way around, and you'll turn this over
Yeah.
and do it from the other side.
Okay.
You might then stand it on its end and do it again.
Yes.
So you photograph it from every angle
That
Yep.
you can. Yeah.
that you can. And then you put it in this software called AgiSoft,
Mhm.
which, as I say, crunches the numbers. And hopefully, there's no guarantee, you get a 3D image that you can spin around.
How long have you been doing this, Chris? Because this is quite a new
This
facility,
is new,
isn't
yeah, I
it?
suppose probably May last year.
Oh.
So, I mean, I didn't really know much about it.
Were you a volunteer or are you a
I'm a
volunteer?
volunteer, yeah, I'm just a
Okay.
volunteer.
Yeah.
So you're learning as you go as well.
I'm learning, yes.
Yeah.
There's two of us. There's George or Georgina. We've been learning together. We have a consultant that comes in and
Mhm.
teaches us how to do it.
Oh,
And the idea is that we can then teach other people how to do it. That's the hopeful.
Yeah.
We can do it. And you say 3D printing is our next adventure. If we can get to do 3D printing of some of these
That would
models.
be brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be great, wouldn't it?
Especially the stuff that you just couldn't get hold of anymore.
Well, that's
you couldn't-
right.
couldn't
And,
make.
yeah, people can pick it up and
Yeah.
touch it. I mean, it'd be great for the sort of partially sighted.
Yeah.
They can actually pick something up and hold it.
I think one of the things that comes across from being here at this place today, it's a national museum, isn't it? This is not some tin pot little
No.
curio
No.
place that you
No,
come
no,
into.
no,
There's
no.
serious work being done here, there's serious restoration work, there's curation work,
Yeah,
and there's the use of new technologies for curating and for
that's
understanding.
absolutely. Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It really is. It's a great
And
place.
volunteers are involved at every level of the work. I mean, really, without the volunteers, this place wouldn't be running, would it?
Well, we run.
Yes.
Not the staff.
I think other than the construction work and and Adam, everyone else that we've met has been volunteers. So
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I would imagine there's more volunteers here than staff.
Yes.
There must be.
and it's so much nicer than volunteering in a charity shop.
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah,
more
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much
Yeah.
more
So if you're
interesting.
going to volunteer, come and volunteer here. Then you're not going to be dealing with customers who want to bring a jumper back because it's the wrong size.
And it's flexible as well, isn't it? You can come sort of days and hours.
Well, that's right, yeah. I mean, this is quite a new project, so we're trying to get this off the ground. So this is taking up quite a bit of time, which I don't mind. It's great because I'm retired, so I can come in here and play with toys.
Yeah.
You know,
Technology.
yeah,
You-
which is
but,
wonderful.
but you could easily see this appealing to young volunteers as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea, is to get, even get schools in,
Yeah.
you know, to children, kids to learn how to do it. They could bring in their favourite toy, and we could hold it for them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that sort of thing, which would be
Yes.
great.
Brilliant.
The possibilities are endless, in actual fact.
No, it's fantastic. I love to see it. It's the kind of level of technology that I'm used to working with.
Yeah,
I didn't expect to find it here,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's very
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
really impressed.
Delve into the wonderful world of the canal horses, explore an authentic Stavanger boat. We showed this in episode 55. Uncover the intriguing aspects of boat life, from childbirth on the canal to the unique clothing worn during those times. Step inside a traditional narrowboat and witness how families manage to live in the compact quarters of this unique watercraft. Learn about the cargo handlers, the hardworking navvies who dug the canals,
Basic cold with little new furniture.
They worked so hard.
They
these
did.
guys,
They worked
didn't they?
really hard.
Gosh, that is a lot of work. So if anyone's looking for something to put on the front of their bow for the summer,
Or if they want to learn how to crochet,
You could
come
crochet
on
your own.
Wednesday morning,
Yeah.
drop in.
when is it Wednesday morning?
Wednesday mornings in the Waterside Cafe, and they'll happily teach all their traditional skills and lacing and crochet.
Have a walk through Porter's Row cottages, where the living standards of shipwrights, blacksmiths, railway workers, porters, and their families evolved over the years. Discover a charming cafe and an inviting gift shop, both adorned with a plethora of delightful boat-related treasures. I wanted to get Rob a Gillikin hat, but they didn't have one that day. Yeah, lovely. They are. I see them in boats sometimes, and I always kind of envy other figures of those. Kind of hide the so you can still look out.
Before we finish though, Kath, just tell us about this group, this chat and drop-in group that you have.
Oh yes, so we have on a Wednesday morning, that's when the crochet group are in, but we've also just started in January the Chatty Cafe.
Okay.
So the idea is that if people are feeling a little bit lonely or isolated, they can come along. We have a Chatty Cafe table, and they just sit there, and someone will just come and chat, and so we've had people every week, and they just wander in, and they're just made to feel welcome.
Yeah.
And then again, it's an opportunity to tell people about the volunteering opportunities, because no one really wants to kind of own the fact that they are lonely or isolated. You know, this sort of taboo comes with that. So we just try and get past that, because it's more about what do you like doing, what do you want to do in the future, what skills, even if you've not used them in years, what skills did you have, what will make you happy. So we work with people to help connect them to a volunteering opportunity in the museum, and whether that is talking. You know, I don't think people often appreciate that just being able to chat is a skill, and then they can come and volunteer at our chatty cafe tables.
Yep.
So yeah, there's, I mean, you've seen that there's opportunities to work in archives, collections, grants, but just even to come and chat, and just be a community connector.
Yeah, so you don't need to be a technical person to volunteer at all. You can just be somebody who enjoys meeting other people.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this really is a nice facility here, isn't it? It's beautiful, clean cafe, lovely, nice feel to it. It's got great views out the window, which I'd taken pictures of earlier on. So we'll
beautiful.
put those in.
It is very much, it's just like the whole place is a social prescribing project. You know, there's people to talk to, there's beautiful green spaces, blue spaces, you can walk in the open air. It's just a gorgeous place, magical, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great, it is great.
Yeah.
No, brilliant.
We hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please like, comment, and share. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and click the bell to be notified when we put up new content. See you soon!